Buenas tardes, amigos. Vuestro Enrico here of Taquiendo de Familia sobre Peopleoples. And I hope the audio is still working. Let's see. Mic check? Yeah, it's still working. Okay. Whoa! Don't crash the car. At least this time I didn't really have to do any setup. I was ready to go pretty much when fucking mic sticking up. Fucking goddamn it. Alright, there. So, I sent out 3 emails today. 2 to the people that... Actually, I left those 2 as comments because I couldn't find emails for the people that he suggested I email. Horse Mumbler, he or she. I don't even know if Horse Mumbler is a dude or a chick, or I don't know who Horse Mumbler is. But Horse Mumbler is a very, very much appreciated contributor to the comments. The thing I love about Horse Mumbler is his or her instincts about what to timestamp. And the fact that he or she does so is very, very much appreciated. I often will, if I'm looking for something and it happens to be in a video that Horse Mumbler has timestamped some things in it, even if they've only timestamped like 1 or 2 things, probably the thing I'm looking for is one of those 1 or 2 things. It's great. So thank you for that, Horse Mumbler. I really appreciate it. But regardless, he or she sent me the 2 people's names to email. Owen Peterson, I think, was one of them, and the other was I forget the other dude's name, but I emailed them both. Oh, the libertarian dude. There's a libertarian dude that might have been Owen Peterson. I don't remember. Some other dude's like a comedian / intelligent person. Like, his positions are things like I just poked around his page a little bit, and I believe, as far as I can tell, that he's trying, as I am trying in general, to be right about every specific issue and not really be affiliated with any group, which, if that is the case, fucking good for him. And thank you, if that is the case about what you're doing. I appreciate that you're offering value to America. Assuming you're American. I don't even know if you're American, but regardless, whatever. And I also sent an email to reason.com today in hopes that maybe they'd be interested in what I'm talking about. And the reason I think they might be interested, not because it's just another assaulted citizen story, but rather because of the qualified immunity considerations, which make the story a lot more interesting or unique or stand out, and makes the real story about the way the court has parsed down the ability to sue government officials who violate your rights to nearly nothing. And you'll note, of course, that the Supreme Court has not afforded immunity to any other kinds of government officials, just to themselves. Just to the three government officials who are most likely to need to be sued: judges, prosecutors, and cops. So, anywho, I'm really hopeful that I can garner the interest of some intelligent people, and the reason I'm hopeful, really hopeful, rather than just, well, we'll see what happens, is because of the genuine distinction involved here in terms of constitutional law. If you're somebody who cares about rights and constitutional law and liberty and statism and stuff like that, you should be very interested in this case, because it's unlike almost any case you're going to encounter for many reasons, but probably the most significant, as far as why it's unlike anything else you're going to encounter, is because my goal is not to get money out of it. Although my goal is to get money out of it, I don't necessarily, my success criterion is not, if I get, the more money I get, the more successful I am. That is not my success criterion at all. My success criterion is, the closer I get to an amount of money received that's exactly equal to what the most just outcome is, that's my desired outcome. That's my success criterion. So as a consequence, I'm not interested in being bought off to go away. I'm interested in having these issues resolved. These issues, these points of law resolved in the favor of the citizenry, not in the favor of the aristocrats. So one thing I noted that was interesting, it's almost impossible to find an email address to send anybody to in city government or the police department. Why is that? Well, it's hard to say why exactly it's set up that way. Who knows who set the protocols or what their reasoning was. But I can tell you what the impact of it is. The impact of it is to discourage communication between the citizenry and the people they are purportedly serving. I mean, their purported servants regarding their concerns. Additionally, you'll note that one other impact of not making it possible for you to email the government, the city government there, is no paper trail, right? If I call, generally most people, if they call, then whatever that communication was that occurred is nobody can really be accountable for what was said. Now I'm going to be recording all my phone calls, so it doesn't matter, but most people aren't that TE savvy regarding the processes, and that's exactly the sort of TE I'm pretty good at. The SE part's a little more challenging because in normal circumstances, because it's because NE potentiates ways in which they could squirm out of it. And so I go, I don't know if I want to put all the energy and time into this, knowing that they've got this angle out, they've got this angle out potentially, and they're probably going to be able to figure that out at some point. And I don't know. But in this instance, I got all my fucking ducks in a row. Like, everything's perfect. So it's not possible for me to get complacent about it or lazy about it, because right now I'm getting angrier and angrier because they're not answering my questions. Basically, I haven't asked them any questions yet because I haven't been able to talk to anybody yet. They're avoiding me. They may not be. They may just be like busy or something, but that's how I'm feeling about it. And the more I start to feel like that, given the fact that I am entirely right, if there was one shred of point of law or fact that I was wrong on, then I have a limited amount of durability in terms of fighting this fight. But in this case, anything other than working with me comprises, as far as I'm concerned, obstruction of justice. Not perhaps legally, but it does comprise obstruction of justice, because it's the only way we can understand why they wouldn't agree with what I'm saying. What I'm saying is true, correct, accurate, in the interest of the nation, for us all to begin holding individuals accountable instead of fucking cities and stuff. So I expect full cooperation from everybody. And if I don't get it, there's going to be fucking hell to pay. That's it. And there's no backtracking an inch. There's no changing course an inch. There's no changing plans an inch. This was discovered, not created. It is what it is. Jingle bells is jingle bells, and it'll never be anything else. Now, if I'm trying to fool you into thinking this Silent Night is actually jingle bells, then I don't have much stomach for maintaining that kind of fight for very long at all, if I even going to have the stomach started in the first place. But when it's the other way around, when you've thrown Silent Night at my face and insisted that instead what you did was gently caress me with jingle bells, well, then I'm going to take your white Christmas and shove it up your ass, to complete the metaphor. So, this is on my mind, and I want it to move forward. If they really wanted to try to stonewall me or something, or cause me to be less effective, what they do is I guess, sort of try to string me along, have a lot of conversations with me, and hope to like bog me down in some sort of point of argumentation over the phone, and then hope maybe I never quite get around to following up or something. It wouldn't work, but that would be probably the best strategy, I guess. Regardless, I'm going to send more emails. Every chance I get, I'm going to send more emails to anybody I can think of, or you can think of, who might be interested in interviewing me about this, talking to me about this, using the video themselves for whatever their own purposes are without involving me at all. That's fine too. Anything that I can do to raise awareness about this particular case as a potentially precedent-setting constitutional matter. As far as I know, and I've done pretty good research on it, I don't believe that anything like this has ever successfully been attempted. Like, I don't think that somebody tried to sue a cop for this particular rights violation, silencing, and been able to succeed in it, has been able to get past qualified immunity. In general, I don't think that's the case. So, right now, if you want to be able to successfully sue an individual cop, despite the letter of the law, despite the letter and spirit of the law, and despite the letter of the case law, I would expect that almost nobody would be able to receive a settlement in a case like this against the individual officer. And that's a fucking travesty. So, if I have a chance to change that, I have an obligation to do so. If I'm not wrong about anything, then there's no other acceptable or possible outcome than to attain justice. And I'll attain it no matter what way I go about attaining it. If I don't get any money out of it, I'll attain it by shredding the dignity of everyone involved. Publicly, repeatedly, accusing them of cowardice, avoiding my fucking whatever, and they might not be impacted by that shaming. Who knows? But I won't let them forget it. I'll keep calling them. I mean, I'm going to file lawsuits. They're going to have to answer me in court. The reason I haven't immediately begun the filing process is that I want to talk to the city attorney first, and I want his verbal commitment that he's going to file an amicus brief on my side of the case, and then I'll move forward with it. And then I don't have to even bother naming the city as a defendant in the suit. But, if they are going to act like a defendant in the suit, in other words, obstruct justice and try to prevent my ability to get things accomplished, then I will treat them as such, and, they're going to have to, you're just going to have to fucking step up to the plate, man up, do their thing that they got to do. That's it. So, hopefully they don't give any fucking pushback, because they don't want to. I'm not in the mood for pushback on this because it's so cut and dry. And even making me wait, it's a form of pushback I don't want. I don't like that. Arnold needs to get his head out of his ass. So, I'm going into a situation. This is the thing that makes it kind of fun, but also a little bit risky or tricky or something. I'm currently walking into a situation where everybody I'm involved with is accustomed to being the intimidating one. And they're all going to have to get accustomed to being the intimidated ones. Because and only because I'm exactly right about everything, I will have nothing but abject contempt for anything but their cooperation. And I will make it abundantly clear to them that their morally reprehensible avoidance of this patriotic duty will not fly. It just won't fucking fly. I don't care if you're the director of the FBI. I don't care if you're the president of the fucking United States. I don't care who the fuck you are. If I'm completely right and you're giving me pushback, you're going to hear about it. And you're not going to like what it sounds like. Because after all, I'm completely right. And so, why are you opposing me? You don't have any good justifications. Then you're only opposing me because you're a person of ill will or malevolence. And I would rather see you unmasked as your true malevolent nature than allow you to persist in doing evil in the shadows. As of course, where is evil? Look for the shadows, the people who want to hide everything. Like the internal affairs thing, the language on that thing about how the victim of whoever a cop criminally violated the rights of won't get any notifications to what happened to the cop. Now, it's interesting language because, of course, you will get notification, and it's just negative notification. If you cannot at any point find any public record of that cop being arrested or charged with a crime, then that means they did nothing. And assuming the cop did commit a crime, that's what you're talking to internal affairs about. And if they did charge him with a crime, then they did something. That's how you know. As though their internal punishments or whatever mean anything at all, right? Oh yeah, we gave him a verbal reprimand. A verbal reprimand? Huh. Well, if those are so bad, you guys better call the ambulance because I'm going to be giving you a whole shit ton of verbal reprimands. I'm going to reprimand you all up and down the street with my verbs. Please, fire me, take my pay, dock my pay, something. I can't take any more of these verbal reprimands. So yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to have an opportunity to make a difference, to speak truth to power, and have them be required, compelled to listen by the circumstances. That's important. It's like, even if they hate me after they talk to me, because, they will, probably, I'm not playing by the rules, quote unquote. I'm supposed to be intimidated, not intimidating. My point is, it's not me, you fucking people. It's the situation that makes you intimidated, because you're on the wrong side of it. You're in the wrong, that's why you're intimidated. So, if anybody thinks along this whole process, including a federal judge, that I'm going to be dishonest in my responses to things, they're crazy. So if a federal judge says something that's patently false and or is wrong about a point of law and or contradicts themselves, I'm going to call them out on it. And if they want to hold me in contempt of court for speaking the truth to power, once again, they can choose to do so, but they have to fucking sleep with themselves at night, right? And it won't shut me the fuck up. They will be hearing me shaming the shit out of them in their fucking dreams. So, I've given plenty of notice here. I want these fucks to work with me, no matter how much they hate me, because even if they hate me, they understand that their moral obligation is their own, to their own sense of right and wrong. They need to do what's right, regardless of their personal feelings towards me. I'm going to explain that to... I need my fucking phone! I'm so fucking tired of not having a phone! I have to switch the SIM card from one phone to another phone. It's fucking... It's like I have phone calls to make! Frustrating. It's nobody's fault but my own. Or not even my fault, really. But... I'm just venting my spleen. And that's the thing. That's another thing that society needs to come to understand. Just because I express anger verbally doesn't make me more dangerous or risky or more likely to hurt somebody than somebody who doesn't express anger verbally. If anything, it makes me less likely. I express my anger verbally because I believe in the power of discourse to solve real problems. I believe that none of us should have to resort to violence to solve a problem. Sometimes it does happen, and sometimes that violence is just. I am not a pacifist. However, I am nonviolent personally. I would not personally go engage in violence, most instances of violence. I would engage in self-defense, or I would help defend the nation against an invasion or something like that. I would take up arms in that context. But there are very limited contexts in which I would choose to be the wielder of force if I could have possibly avoid it. You know, if somebody's attacking Kimberly, I would not be afraid to stab them. I would do so. Because, you know, that's a combination of TI legitimacy while my woman's being attacked, and FI fucking dickwad, FI determination of relevancy. So it's like, I mean, or of significance, I guess you could say. It's like, this is hugely significant because I value this individual so much. Therefore, fuck right and wrong, I'm going after this fuck. That's like FI response, you know? But I'd also be legitimate on a TE level, like I need to solve this problem, that'll solve it. I'd be legitimate on an FE level, I ought to make an effort to save my woman. I'd be legitimate on an NE level. I'd be aware of the fact that if I don't do something, potentially she could be killed. It'd be legitimate on an NI level. Your woman's being attacked, of course, fucking do something. It'd be legitimate on an SE level. Why didn't you do something sooner? So, yeah, of course. But I don't seek it, for sure. I'd be perfectly happy to go the rest of my life with never having to use any force against anyone for anything. I would love to see the world such that there's less often required any use of force, just or unjust. You know, I'd rather just force be used than allow injustice to persist that requires a just use of force in response to it. But I'd prefer that there just not be any injustice in the first place, obviously, and then we don't need the just use of force. I most of all probably prefer that people use those words correctly. Things like justice and rights. You know, social justice warriors should call themselves social reduction warriors. They reduce people to members of their groups. That's what they're doing. There's nothing just about that. It's not inherently unjust. It's inherently shitty, but they certainly are misnamed. Like the Democratic People's Republic of Korea is nothing democratic, nothing Republican, and nothing about the people that matters at all about DPRK. It's all about the aristocrats. Same is true of social justice warriors. They are actively opposing social justice, so they're just playing DPRK propaganda games. We know they're actively opposing social justice because they're not trying to help individuals be an individual despite others trying to force group membership upon them and meaning from that group membership. Instead, they're doing the opposite. They're saying, you have to be a member of your group. You have to be a victim so that we can support you. Yeah. So, we have the right to health care. You are not using the word correctly. Corporate welfare. You are not using words correctly. Those words don't mean what you think they mean. Stealing less of a corporation's money is not giving them a handout. This corporation got a tax cut from 20% to 18% last year. And someone on the political left, quote unquote, will call that corporate welfare or handouts to big corporations. Why are we cutting taxes to these big corporations that are making millions of dollars? Because they're making, right? Not you. Get it? So, like, You know how when I buy a loaf of bread at the store, you don't get to just come up and take some of the slices, because why should I have all those slices for myself? Well, what if you were to ask that, what would my answer be? Because I bought them. Because they're mine. I own them. They're not yours. I had to work, and my hard effort paid off with enough money to buy this loaf of bread. The fact that I have a loaf of bread in my hands is clear to you, because there it is. The fact that I had to work to get it, you seem to not understand. The bread didn't appear in my hands magically. The bread wasn't a gift from the gods. Neither was it a gift from the government. It's mine by virtue of the fact that I earned it. So why should we take the money from those corporations? They're making billions of dollars in profit. Right, they earned it by providing utility to others. Now, just as you people are earning my scorn by providing stupidity to others. So, it's good to have the leverage to speak to people who need to hear me. And there are a lot of people in the world who need to hear me. But the more powerful you are, the more entrenched you are in the system, and all that goes along with that. What just fell? That's Jim's fucking microphone. The more you need to hear me. Period. Why? Why do they need to hear me specifically? Well, because I'm right. That's why. I'm sure there are other right people in the world, but I'm right, and I like to make sure that wrong people don't get away with it. Don't get away with being wrong. Why should you? You're fucking wrong. You know? If you can't win the argument, then shut the fuck up, or change your position or something, or listen and learn something. Fucking, I'm not even talking about anybody. I'm just expressing frustration at the way that we allow the shit that we allow to become normalized. The fact that these cops are, who was it? Somebody said, an English person said, was just stunned that the cop had cocked his gun before he came and attacked me. He described how that interaction would have gone in England. The officer would have come up, probably hands behind his back, and said, "Step aside, please. Step back, please. I need you to step aside. Nothing to see here," or something like that. And that, everyone would have been just stunned and appalled if something like that were to happen in England. Well, whatever. I mean, I like the fact that it went down the way it did. Forget about politeness. I want that guy to make that mistake so he can learn something. And it's genuinely because I want to improve things. He knows better than that. If the culture of that police department is such that it's reinforcing bad moral statuses with him, he's not a bad person. There's no reason why he can't step out of his cop suit for a second and deal with me as a human being and say, "You know what, dude, my bad. You pissed me off, and you were right. We were being crazy over there. That was excessive. I'm sorry, and I don't want to be part of an organization that's awful, and neither did any of my fellow cops here. And we acknowledge that we need to sit back, listen, and learn something from you." That would be a wonderful outcome. I'd be perfectly happy with that. It's like people often accuse me of being arrogant. What is genuine fucking arrogance? Willfully ignoring those who know better. That's genuine fucking arrogance. Arrogant in my eye. I'm not arrogant. I'm tired of people much, much wronger than me trying to tell me how shit is. And so, you know, if you're going to sit there and spit wrongness at me, you're going to discover that I've got this weird machine that catches that wrongness, turns it into nuclear bombs, and throws them back at your face. It's time, in general, in a lot of ways, for assorted people to just fall in line. Like, look, Kim, it is not a good use of our time for me to be explaining to you why you should listen to me about this sort of thing, about whatever it is. Not every matter, but certain matters that which I know better. Stop making me waste my time fighting my allies so I know that they understand why they should be on my team. You need to extend some trust. I do know best. Just, you don't need to know the details. Just fucking go with it, because this is not a time for internal squabbles. It's a time for unity against an external enemy. Our disagreements are petty and minor. Kim's main disagreement is she doesn't like the FE aspects of me having to fight battles, because having to fight battles means I need to be talking like this, and I need to be laying it all out there in no uncertain terms. And it often, because she's opposing me, I'll say things like, "You're not understanding how powerful I am," or something like that. You know, like, you don't understand how my words are stronger than anything they have, because my words are entirely linked to truth, blah, 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 blah. She hates that because she thinks it's arrogant. You know, it sounds arrogant. It's bad FE. I try to explain to her, I would love to be in a relationship that works properly. The relationship that works properly, she's telling me, they can't handle you, Eric. You're the smartest. And I'm telling her, Kim, it's not that cut and dry, all right? I appreciate your faith in me, but I'm just a regular guy like anybody else, and we got our hands full here. That's how the relationship is supposed to go. You know, she needs to be telling me how great I am so that I can tell her, no, I'm not really. If she's telling me how not great I am, then she compels me to convince her otherwise. After all, why isn't she appreciating what I have to offer? Why isn't she acknowledging that as my teammate, she naturally would be my cheerleader, and vice versa? You know, when I tell Kim something like, well, Kim, it's because you've never been with anybody like me before who can be she doesn't like that. She gets mad at me. The only reason I tell her this, of course, is because it's in response to some criticism of me that she's issued. And, you know, it's like, why don't you want me to be better than the previous people you were with? Well, that's not what it is. It's not that she doesn't want me to be better. It's that she doesn't want me to get... She's worried about... She doesn't trust me. She doesn't trust my FE, which is very wrong of her, because she doesn't understand the way it works. And she has to, because she's making the problem that she doesn't like happen. I'm not going to sit around and allow her to diminish me, box me as some little fucking worthless scrub, and just accept that I'm going to stay down where I belong. Fuck that noise. She needs to step up to the plate and change her behavior. The thing is, I'm on a bit of a rampage right now because, you know, I'm just done with wrongness. I'm done with it. I've had enough of it. I'm taking it out back. I'm taking the paddle. I'm taking a switch. And it's not coming back in any condition to sit down for a long ass fucking time. Wrongness, you're on notice.